All right, I believe we are live. Hey, everybody. Welcome to episode 1 of what I'm going to call It's Thompson Time. That is going to be the name of the podcast that I'm starting. And if you're not a big superhero fan, I get that from The Thing in the Fantastic Four. He always says it's clobbering time. I feel like it just flowed together. So it's Thompson Time. Welcome to episode 1. So for today, it's going to be more of an introduction into who I am as a person, where I come from, my background, all of that good stuff. We're not really going to get too deep into any kind of a subject, but today's really just an introduction into me, who I am, and the type of person that you will be listening to. So I came up with the idea to do a podcast whenever the pandemic hit. When COVID hit, everybody was kind of just sitting around, and I thought about it, and it really hit me. Like, a lot of people would probably be able to listen to a podcast right now. A lot of people would probably be able to watch a YouTube video right now because we all had so much time on our hands. And even those states that are opening back up and we're seeing, people going back to work and stuff, it seems like we still have a lot of time on our hands, a lot more than we used to. And that's really why I'm getting into stuff like this. I want to really dig into it. And the reason specifically for starting a podcast is because it's so simple to record yourself talk. It's a whole lot easier than recording an actual video. And, you can create a podcast from anywhere. And obviously you can do it from the safety of your own home. I don't have to go out. If I create a YouTube video one day down the road, if I'm doing it where I'm not supposed to, I can get sued for that. But a podcast, I'm making it from my own home. You can't sue me for what I'm talking about. All it is I'm just talking. It's ideas. So that's why I believe a podcast would be effective. It's also very simple. So I can just sit here and talk. If I have a guest on, we're just talking. Obviously I'd be the one asking the majority of the questions to a guest, and they'd be talking about their expertise on things. So it's just very simple. So from this podcast, I would like to gain an outlet to express my views on who I really am. And I would like to express my views on anything and everything. So I'd like to have friends on, and I have a few friends who work in corporate business life. So I'd love to have them on. Some of you guys may be interested in working as an engineer one day, or an accountant, or just basically a general business person. I could have my fiance on to talk about nutrition. She's a future registered dietitian, so she definitely has a educational background in nutrition. So that'd be very interesting. Some of you may be interested in, eating healthier and having a healthier lifestyle. So that could be a potential future episode. And I would love to capture a wide audience with open discussion and ideas and experiences. So obviously my YouTube videos, the actual videos themselves are geared more towards sports. But with this podcast, I want to make it about anything and everything. I want the ideas to be open. I want it to be about an array of subjects, not just sports. I want it to be about, obviously I mentioned the business life, nutrition. We could talk specifically about engineering. We could talk about math. We could talk about science. We could talk about space. All these different things you could think of, I could do an episode on. I could have an expert in that field talk to me about it. And I feel like a lot of you out there would really like that. I feel like a lot of you out there would really want to see what not just myself, but also these other people who are the experts in those fields have to say about it. The reason I want it to be such a wide range of experiences too is because then obviously the people who would listen to the podcast would be a wider audience. It would not be a specific niche where only these people who are interested in watching sports videos would watch or listen to the podcast. So I want it to be about any and everything. And obviously, let's say you are more of a sports-minded person, we will have episodes that are geared more towards sports. But if you're one of those people, and then we have one talking about the business field or engineering or whatever, you could learn something from it still, even if you are geared more towards the sports. So that's kind of what I want as well. I want everyone learning about something every episode. I want it to be very educational. Let's see. So I'm just going to lay out what is my goal for the next 5 years in terms of this podcast and my YouTube channel in general. One day, I would like this to be some sort of income, whether that be ad revenue on YouTube or corporate partnerships, whatever it may be. I would like for this to be a source of income where I don't have to go into 9 to 5 or whatever just to provide for my family. Now, that's not why I'm doing it, but that's kind of the vision I have for what I want this to be. So obviously, in order to grow the following, in order to grow the people who listen or watch my videos, obviously these are going to be posted to YouTube. Most of you listening will probably be watching it or listening to it on YouTube. I'll post it to my social medias and basically just word of mouth. You know, I share it with one of my family members and they show 3 people that they know or whatever. Hey, this is my nephew. Listen to what he has to say about this. All right, so really just to lay out who I am, we're going to take it all the way back. And what motivated me growing up to want to motivate other people? Because that's my real goal with making YouTube videos and obviously starting the podcast episodes is to motivate people, to inspire people, to, want people to listen or see me do something and be inspired by what I'm saying, inspired by what they're hearing or seeing. I want to inspire everyone listening right now. That is my goal. So who inspired me growing up? I had a coach in middle school. His name was Skip Applin. He, like me right now, was the history teacher. He was also the basketball coach. So my life has kind of come full circle in terms of that. So Coach Applin was the greatest coach I ever played for in my life. He's super encouraging. He always built us up. He never tore us down, but he was hard on us at the same time. He expected a lot from us, but also inspired us to be better, not just in sports, but also in life. He inspired us to be great young men, even at the age of 12, 13 years old. So in middle school, in the one I went to, there was just one 8th grade team, and 6th, 7th, and 8th graders were all same team. The school was that small. But I made the team as a 6th grader. And I remember before a game one time, Coach Applin said to me, and this still inspires me today, he said, Christian, you're going to be one of the greatest minds, greatest people in terms of basketball to come out of this school. And I was just in 6th grade. I didn't get any playing time that year. But he saw the potential in me, and he expressed that to me. He said, you will be one of the greatest basketball people to come out of this middle school. Not just players, but people. And to this day, what he said to me that day still inspires me. So then we get into, let's talk a little bit about my life story. So I was born and raised in the South, in the state of Mississippi. right now I'm a history teacher and I coach middle school basketball. I went to Jones County Junior College for the first years of college and then on to Mississippi State University. And I was a manager for the men's basketball teams at both of those colleges. So basically I went into physical education, was basically my major. And ultimately I wanted to coach basketball. My ultimate dream is coach college basketball. Obviously right now I'm not there yet, but that's still the ultimate dream. That is my goal. My end goal is to coach college basketball. So whenever I'm done teaching, obviously, eventually I'll move on from teaching and coach college basketball. I won't have to teach anymore, but that is ultimately what my goal was from the beginning and still is to not teach. It is to coach college basketball. So obviously, like I said, moving into a little bit about what motivates me, what inspires me, was when I was inspired by Coach Applin, I saw the potential of what, just a few words can say, what just a moment can do for somebody, how it can change their lives, because he changed my life that day. My life was forever changed. I'm still inspired by what he told me. And that's what I want to do. I want to pass that inspiration on through YouTube videos and through a podcast. And that's really what I expect from it. My expectations are to express and discuss various subjects, my opinions on them, experts' opinions on them in those fields. And it could be anything from sports to business, like I said, to science, to space, anything. So right now, if you're still listening, I want you to put down in the comments, what's a subject that you want my opinion on, that you want to hear what I have to say? Give me an idea for an episode of a podcast, and we'll talk about that for the whole episode. We'll talk about that subject, things related to that subject. So moving forward after today, these podcast episodes will be a little bit easier to make than the YouTube videos. You need a little bit more time to make a YouTube video. With these podcast episodes, I can just sit down, start recording, and talk about things. So again, guys, let me know down below. What do you guys want me to talk about? What do you want to hear different subjects on? Because I'm very interested to see what you guys want to know from me, what you guys want to see my opinion on. Thank you guys for listening. If you're not subscribed yet, please subscribe down below. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one.